Hi everyone, welcome again. My name is Larissa Lopes and you're watching the 12 Habits That Changed My Life. We've been talking about changing your focus and taking responsibility for your life, and you're probably wondering right now, how exactly do you do this, right? And well, to take control over your mind and to start having power over your reactions, you first need to do something really important. That is to know yourself. So my third habit is this, is start a relationship with yourself. If you are in a relationship right now, or if you live with someone that you love, you probably have in your head a little folder with all the information you need to help you deal with that person. Like the subjects you should avoid, or what you should say to cheer them up, or the things they like to do. Unfortunately, most people don't have their own folder, you know. They know more about the person they are living with than about themselves. And I suggest you to start making your own folder, and you should start by this. Ask yourself questions, you know. Ask yourself, what do you really want? I used to have these urges to go to the supermarket, and normally I used to buy at least 3-4 meals, and I ate everything in once because I couldn't choose what I wanted, so I ended up buying more than I needed, of course. And I used to go to my house and to watch sad movies and just make me even more depressed than I was. And I didn't know why I was eating. From the moment I started this being myself thing and forget about diet, I used to go to the supermarket and ask myself, without looking at the shelves, like at the entry, what do you want to eat tonight? And sometimes something came out to my head, and I used to go buy, and I allow myself to buy that meal and a dessert. But most of the times I just couldn't say it. I used to stay like 5 minutes in the entry of the supermarket, like just thinking and forcing myself to tell me what was really that I wanted that night. And the thing that I wanted wasn't in the shelves, so I just couldn't buy it or eat it. And you know, if you ask yourself what you really want in this crisis moments, the answer might surprise you. And that happened to me a lot of times, and I started to realize I wasn't eating because I was hungry or because I really wanted to eat that food. I was eating because I wanted my family around me, I wanted to have a boyfriend, I wanted to work less, you know. When I realized that what the real problem was, I felt really strong and confident because I didn't surround to food that night. And second, I could start working on the real problem. And I really want you to start identifying what do you really want, and which times are you having food instead of solving the real problem. And you know, better than asking yourself questions is to taking time to do that. To learn how to deal with yourself, it's really important that you know yourself. And automatically you have this relationship with yourself, but it doesn't mean that you know yourself. You have to ask questions. What do you like to do? What you don't like to do? Which foods do you like to eat? What do you think about the weather and about the politics? You have to think about these things to start really understanding what's happening inside your head. So my next suggestion for you, I know it seems a little weird, but is to take yourself on a date. Is to spend some time alone with yourself. And I don't mean like watching TV by yourself or doing something else. No distractions, you know, like on a real date when you have to look at each other's eyes and just tell yourself what the other one is asking. I want you to take some time to yourself to learn what do you have to learn about yourself. Especially with food, sometimes we eat some kind of food because everyone is eating or drinking, and you don't even like it. Like you're having calories for nothing because you're not even enjoying that. You have to learn what do you like and the things that gives you pleasure and that empowers you, so you can start doing more of these things. And the way to get to know yourself is by asking questions, and asking the right questions in the quiet moments or in the moments that you don't have any distraction around you, and really taking the time to making your own folder. No, I know most people can't stand themselves, like they stay 3 minutes alone and they are already on their phone or watching TV or doing something else. And I want you to stop doing that and to just listen. You have to learn how to listen to yourself, how to understand what do you really want and what's happening inside of you. And I made this mistake for years. I used to spend day after day doing nothing to make me happy, to talk to myself, to rescue me from somewhere. And that's why I was so stuck. As I told you, you are the only person that can save yourself. And if you spend all of your time ignoring yourself and avoiding being alone and talking about the real problems, it's exactly like in a normal relationship. If you do this to your boyfriend, it's not gonna last. If you do this to your parents, it's not gonna, you won't be able to live at the same house. It's like this with everyone. You have to have this relationship with yourself and talk about the real problems. If you want to change something in your life, you have to take the control back. And right now, if you don't know why you're eating like me on the supermarket, it's because you are in an autopilot. So you have to stop and to take the control in your hands and start, really understanding what's happening. And the way to do this is to talk to yourself, to ask the right questions, to spending time alone. So it's really important that you start having this time to get to know yourself. And my favorite part of this date is that I always give myself a gift. I save money to buy myself something pretty, and I know it must seem silly, but it's really important that you start treating yourself the way you want other people to treat you, because the way you treat yourself is going to define how other people would look at you. And if you are not nice to yourself, how do you expect other people to be? I want you to treat yourself with the same level of kindness that you would treat someone you love. I used to be so hard on myself, to demand so much. And when I didn't do something right, I came up with that list of things that I didn't do, or that I should have done better, or that I forgot, or that I've done wrong. I kept reminding myself of the bad things and all my mistakes from the past, and how much a failure I was. And that's not very nice to do, right? If you had a friend that keep reminding yourself of all the things you've done wrong, you wouldn't be friends with that person, right? So why do you keep doing this to yourself? We are so nice to everybody else. Why can't you be nice to yourself? Maya Angelou has this great quote that says, "Do your best until you know better. Then when you know better, you do better." And I had to learn how to forgive myself and forgive my family and people around me for not knowing better back then. I was a fat kid. When I was growing up, I was overweight, and I've always blamed my parents or my family for this situation because I didn't choose to be fat. I didn't have any choice. When you are 9 years old and you are already overweight and you had to start dieting, it's not your fault, And I needed to forgive myself and forgive my family for not knowing better at the time, in order for me to accept my new reality and start doing better now that I know better. You don't need to leave reminding yourself of the past. You just need to accept that new reality and start living a new day. You can't change what's done. You can't, like, it doesn't matter how much you torture yourself, you can't change anything. So please let go of your past and choose to create a better future, because if you keep reminding yourself of that, if you keep thinking and wasting your time with the things you can't change, that's what you're gonna create to your future. You're only gonna get more of that. Now that you know all of this, I want you to choose to be better, to start trying to understand what's happening inside of you and not surrendering to urges to eat, and just think, just learn how to listen to yourself and learn how to understand what is the real problem and work on that instead of eating. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Thank you very much for watching, and I see you next week. You know what, guys? I came to this beautiful park to make a sunny video for you guys, but since I started talking about having a date with yourself and all the nice things you should do to yourself, I realized that I really need a day off today. So I'll probably make this video another day in another place, and so you can see that sometimes we need to just turn off everything else and take some time to yourself, and I'm doing this right now, so see you another day.